Hi, y'all. My name's Crystal. Welcome to Big Sexy Chat. This is my co-host, my partner.
Hi, I'm Merf.
Hi, Merf.
Hi.
I'm in San Jose. Merf's in the Central Valley somewhere. I identify as omnisexual and fat positive and sex positive. Merf, what about you?
I am pansexual,
Mm-hmm.
and I I am just like really excited to get this going
Me too.
and figure out our flow and what works. And I'm really glad to be a part of this.
Yeah, thank you so much for being a part of this. I'm so excited. So, just for our listeners, so you all know, we've known each other for like maybe 6 or 7 years. We met at first when I used to own a boutique in San Jose. And I had this idea during the pandemic that I wanted to do another podcast. And I was thinking, like, who do I know that's really smart, sassy, sex positive, fat positive, has similar politics as me? So I'm super duper duper liberal. And yeah, I know a lot of women like that. I really wanted to have a female co host. And I was like, who do I know? Who do I know? And I was like, whittling it down. And I'm like, Merf. Merf's the perfect person for this. So thank you for doing this with me. I really appreciate it. And you said yes instantly. Like, you're like, yes, I'm in.
I'm in. The
Yeah,
second you said it, I was like, can we
let's do
start
this.
tomorrow?
Right, right. So it took us a little time because we had to get through the holidays and all that stuff. And then you guys will never know this, but tonight we took us about an hour to get started because we were having all kinds of technical issues. But this is our first episode. This is our first time doing this together. And we're in two different parts of the state. And anyway, we're going to have a great time. Most of the shows, unless we're having a guest, our flow is going to be current events, hot
Hot
topics.
topics.
Say it again one more time.
Hot topics.
Yes. And then listener email, which we have some good ones tonight. And then at the end of the show, we're going to do vibe of the week and talk about some of our favorite sex toys, or maybe even not our favorite sex toys, toys that are not our favorite. How's that? So I'm going to start by telling them a little bit about me, and then Murph, I'll have you jump in and tell everybody a little bit about yourself. Okay. So first of all, y'all, I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada. I was born and raised there. It's so weird. It's the weirdest place to grow up. Now, I don't have anything to compare it to because it's the only place I grew up. But based on what I hear from other people, it's a weird place to grow up. I used to tell people that my mom is a hooker and my dad's a pimp, but they weren't. My parents are actually in the pest control business, so just a little different. So yeah, Las Vegas, born and raised. Then I went to college in Reno, and then I met my boyfriend at the time at UNR, and then he was from this San Jose area. So that's how I ended up here. So I've been here since 1987, and okay. So first of all, when I first moved here, I was a Kelly girl. And then I worked in tech for like 10, no, 15 years. Currently, I'm a licensed not electrician. I always say that. I'm a licensed electrician. No, I'm not. In fact, I almost failed the electricity chapter of my electrology education. So I'm definitely not an electrician. I'm an electrologist, which means I help most of the time women remove their extra hair, but I also have trans clients. And also I call my business All Bodies Welcome because truly, if you're in San Jose area, all bodies are welcome. My table will hold 800 pounds. I'm very fat positive. I'm very fat. I don't find the word fat as an insult. I like to use that word myself. I think that's your word too, Murph.
That is my word
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. I have purple hair. I have blue eyes. I'm fat. I'm a size 9 shoe. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I don't care. Yeah, yeah, I'm fat. You can't hide it. There's no way to camouflage. Like no matter how much I try, I can't take up less space. So I don't even bother trying. So born in Las Vegas, I'm the oldest child. Lived in San Jose since 1987. Right now, I'm a licensed electrologist. Before that, I was owning a boutique called Curvy Girl Lingerie, which is the first ever lingerie boutique for fat people. And then before that, I sold sex toys for 10 years. Before that, I worked in tech for 15 years and I got laid off from my tech job. So I went from tech to sex to boutique and now to electrology. And I love it. And I think Murph and I met through my boutique Curvy Girl, which is closed. I had to close it because I have a little injury in my brain from too much stress. It's called trigeminal neuralgia. So that's why I closed my boutique. And then now I'm doing electrolysis. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
I love it.
What about you?
And
Tell
then
everybody.
some
I
interesting
know.
parts about you there.
Weird. Oh, you know what? My first job when I was in college, I used to measure men for tuxedos.
Oh.
Genghis formal wear, top number one employee. I used to be able to see a man walking by like 42 regular. 48 tall, 48
Nice.
slim. I don't have that skill so much anymore, but yeah, I was on it. It was so fun. And yeah, I was really like innocent in college and stuff. So, I got to measure men's inseams and stuff. That seemed like such a big deal to me at the time.
Right. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Oh, and I should have said I'm about to turn 54 on February 13th.
Ah, early birthday. Happy early birthday.
Thank you.
Well, a little bit about me. I am born and raised in Northern California, and um, I have lived here my entire life. I'm near Sacramento and the state capital. Woo woo.
Go Newsom. Woohoo.
Right. Um, I I'm a licensed marriage family therapist, and so basically that means a lot of people think that means like I only see couples and families.
Right.
It just means that I'm a licensed therapist and that I can see anyone for any kind of psychotherapy, which is talk therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing that for uh, going on 15 years. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, and so it's been a really interesting road for me. I've always wanted to get into psychology. You know, you mentioned earlier being sex positive. At 16, I wanted to become a sex therapist, and I really I ran towards that goal, and then
Yeah.
realized like I'm kind of accruing debt with school, and I'm accruing debt in life, and
Mm-hmm.
this is going to be harder than I thought, and so I had to work full time and go to school full time at night. And so I decided, you know what? I don't think I'm going to find a sex therapist around here to be an intern of.
Sure.
I'm just going to have to jump in and be a therapist and kind of figure it out along the way. And so
Cool.
that's what I've done. And I've been doing that for, like I said, well over a decade and enjoying that. I've advanced pretty far in my career, which I love. And
Yeah.
I really love being able to serve my community. So it's nice. I speaking of how you got into your career and all of that, I actually started my first job at a movie theater.
That's right.
And that's where I met my partner. And so we've been together for 21 and a half years. And we met at the movie theater. He was my boss.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say quid pro quo, but you know, I was definitely interested in him, and so yeah, so we've been together for quite some time. We've done all kinds of fun, sexy adventures, and yeah, he was the one who said, "Let's go down to this." Like sexy boutique and find out what it's about, and that's how we ended up meeting. And yeah, it's just been a wild ride. So I'm excited to have the chance to talk about sex with you and uh,
Mm-hmm.
being, fat liberation and all the
Yeah.
wonderful, amazing things that our communities really, engage in and they overlap with. So uh,
Yeah.
I'm really, and like you said, I'm super progressive.
Yeah.
I, you know, I'm a feminist. I don't take crap from anybody.
Oh,
I have very long pink hair. I get, it's interesting. I live in a very conservative area, and that's one of the first things that they're like, "Oh, you're a liberal because you got that pink hair." Uh,
mhm. Crazy person.
right? You're
Wow.
really wild for us, but I've been fat basically my entire life. I
Me
did
too.
have a trigger warning for anyone talking about eating disorders, but I did struggle with an eating disorder twice in my life. I relapsed, and um,
Mm.
all due, to the mental illness that surrounds all the things that are they're bad that surround our community,
Yeah.
the culture, the fat phobia, the all of
Mm-hmm.
that. So I'm really excited to have an opportunity to talk about the amazing things and normalize some stuff for people because we didn't get that
Yeah.
when we were growing up.
Right. Yeah. We were having a discussion today about labias. And like, we're going to normalize this discussion. Like, first of all, labias and vaginas are like, snowflakes. Everyone is unique and different and beautiful and special.
Right.
And hey, everybody came from one. So
Exactly.
people that don't like them, I'm like, I have a friend who was like, ew. And I'm like, you came from one, right? Yeah. I'm like, I think they're gross. I'm like, you think your own vagina and vulva is gross? Oh, yeah. Oh, sister.
And
I
that
was
says
going to
so
say
much
also,
about that person.
it's crazy. I was going to tell you too, and remind everybody that I used to sell sex toys at Kirby Girl as well. So
Yes.
I talk a lot about sex toys that work well for fat bodies. And Merf, do you want to give any kind of disclaimer right now, or do you want to wait for the disclaimer about your therapy
No,
skills?
I'll say that now. I because I am a licensed therapist, many people seem to think that whatever I say is gospel.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a therapy session that you're
No,
listening to.
no.
I am not working as a therapist in this capacity. I am simply taking the knowledge that I have and sharing that while I talk to my friend on a podcast.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think, of course, all the things that we ever discuss are informed by what we're informed with, right? Which is, in your case, therapy. And in my case, all my weird jobs in tech and selling sex toys. And yeah, I think maybe it will be therapy for some of you, just in that it'll be therapeutic listening to two fat girls unapologetically chew the fat. So thank you, Murph. Thank you so much. So we're going to start our shows off typically by talking about current events. And there's something in the current events world that I'm so excited about. Well, first of all, there's this protest going on where these kids really want their hot chocolate. Have you seen that, Murph?
No.
They're like, what do you want? Hot chocolate milk. When do we get it? Now. There's these kids. I think there's in somewhere in California they're doing all these protests, but I digress. But I'm like, I could get involved in that protest. I want my chocolate milk too. Um, they're so cute. They're like, yes, we want our chocolate milk. The school's only going to give them chocolate milk now twice a month because sugar.
Ugh.
Yeah, I know. Well, anyway, no, what I
Give
really
me
wanted.
your damn chocolate milk.
I mean, people drink chocolate milk after they work out to repair everything. Oh, whatever. But really, what I want to talk about is this new show called Somebody Somewhere. I love it.
Love it.
It's so good. So if you haven't heard about it or read about it, if you haven't seen it, it's called Somebody Somewhere. And the comedian Bridget Everett is in it. And she happens to be a woman of size. And so far, there's been no discussion of the size of her body. She's playing a human, like just a regular old human. And they don't obsess about her body. They don't obsess about her weight. She doesn't give a fuck. And she's just all out there. And oh my God, the writing's so good. It's kind of a comedy drama. It
Yeah.
starts off a little heavy, but it gets so a little bit like dark black humor, kind of dark humor, right?
Yeah. And I really love that it seems like you're just gonna kind of peel away layers to get to this
Yes.
really serious story
Right.
about the dynamic between her and her sister. But it looks like they're really gonna build in, and they are, the
Yeah.
relationship with the friend and potentially
Mm-hmm.
the neighbor. And
Yeah.
there's so much. I love shows where they have, the really just the nuances of being human. And that's what this show is
That's
got.
all it's about. It's all about being a human, the human condition, right?
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, yeah, it could be anything and everything. I lost my sister, so the first episode, I was like, oh no, because
Right.
that was like right away she lost Holly. So yeah, hopefully you're not spoiling anything for people who haven't watched it yet. So we should say spoil alert if
It's in the trailer. You're good.
I forgot about that. If you're thinking about watching Somebody Somewhere, and I highly recommend it, especially if you're a person of size. First of all, there's queer people in it. There's a non-binary character. There's Black people in it. It's set in Kansas, and I guess Bridget is the main character. She is from Kansas, so she wanted to use Kansas as the backdrop, which also is kind of like a character because Kansas is Kansas, right? And it's definitely different than where I live, which is Silicon Valley, and I think it's probably a little bit different than where you live too, right, Murph?
Absolutely. I do see some aspects of where I live in there, that
Mm-hmm.
kind of small town, where people kind of, and talk.
The one lady writes a book, and they all went to high school together, and she's writing a book. Well, she self-publishes a book about the people in her class.
Yep.
Don't you want to know what she wrote about Sam, the character, Bridget
Yeah.
Everett's character? She never read it out loud, so we don't know what the book
Yep.
says.
I
And
have a
yeah,
feeling later on in the series it's gonna
probably.
be shared.
Don't you love her friend Joel?
Oh,
I have
he's
never seen the actor
everything.
before. Have you seen him before anywhere?
I have not. I have not. And
He's
he has unique features too, which I think is so wonderful because it's real people. It's not like these like perfectly, everything's done and you know,
curated.
yeah, it's not curated. That's
Excuse me.
exactly the word.
Yeah, I guess there's a lot of sort of misfits. I don't know if that word's offensive or not, but yeah, people are very unique in this show, and they have unique appearances.
Mhm.
And yeah, he's wonderful. I mean, so he hasn't really said it, but that is his like his love interest, right? The black gentleman that joined him then for breakfast that day. So
Yep.
they're basically gay. I don't think they've ever said specifically that
No.
he's gay, right? But yeah, it's lovely. It's so done so well, and it's so amazing. Like, of course, representation matters, right? We all believe in that, hopefully. But it's just so weird to see a fat character where they're not obsessed about her body size. She's not on a diet. She's not on a cleanse. She's not on a fast. She's just her. She's just existing with her family and going about life just like how I do. Like,
Right.
I'm fat. I don't ever really think about my body. I'm just do my thing. I go to my grocery shopping. I go to my job, hang
Yep.
out with my sweetie. I mean, doesn't seem that big of a deal, but it is because it doesn't exist on TV.
Right. Right. There's no examples of that other than the negative that, supersedes all that stuff. So it's
Yeah.
nice to have this opportunity where it's a character that you're seeing in real life situations, dealing with stuff, having breakdowns, having a rough time, trying to figure it out, processing it, all while, figuring out her life. And
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
She's a fully realized human
Yeah.
who is a person of size, and she doesn't seem to give a fuck about her body size,
Right.
which is like always so hot to me. That's just so dreamy. I
And
love that in a person.
seriously.
I
Oh,
mean,
and can we talk about her boobs?
holy moly. Yeah. I want to know what bra she's wearing.
Oh my gosh.
She has a good bra, and wow, I know that bra's it's doing some work.
It's it's amazing. It's
The only people used
amazing.
to always email me or private message me or text me, especially through my Kirby Girl Facebook page. Crystal, there's this new show. It's called This Is Us. You're gonna love it. Chrissy Metz is in it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a chance. So I saw the commercials though, and I wasn't feeling real good about it because, like we were talking about earlier offline, about somebody somewhere, there's some microaggressions in there from other people about her body, but she just ignores them.
Yeah.
But This Is Us, there's no microaggressions. It's right there in your face. Fat suit. And then the main character, or Chrissy Metz character, has most likely some eating disorder or disordered eating. When they opened up her refrigerator, she had all these Post-its on her food. I was like, oh, show is not for me.
No. No, I couldn't even the second because everybody was like, "Oh my gosh,
You have
Meredith,
to watch it. You're
you have to
fat.
see it." Yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
fat. She's
You're
fat. You're
fat.
gonna love it.
They've got one of you, Meredith.
Stop.
Or
Your
sorry,
people.
cut that, Ashley. They got one of you, Merf. But yeah, I think that with that, I got a lot of hearing like the story behind her, and when they said that she signed a contract that said that she would have to lose weight as the character of the show, I was like,
Yeah.
fuck this. I
That's
want
me too.
nothing to do with it. And I've
Nope.
never watched a single episode.
Nope. Yeah, just couldn't do it. But yeah, people were for sure I was going to love it. And I was like, what do you think? I'm like, I know you probably don't want to hear this, but I hate it.
Yep.
Like, what do you mean? But they're not involved, and they're in their own world with their own privilege, and they don't know what it's really like to live in a fat body. Like you, I've been fat since the 3rd grade, at least according to my pediatrician, who told me when I was 11 I needed to lose some weight, and I was 111 pounds, but I was like 5'4", so I wasn't fat. But yeah, my pediatrician, whose job is to do no harm
Right.
and to help me. I wasn't there for my fat. I was there for like strep throat. But when you have strep throat, the fat really messes up the strep throat somehow. Because
well, it really, it perpetuates the strep throat. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's so ridiculous. One time I went to the doctor for something to do with my eye, and they were like, oh, and they took my blood pressure 5 times.
Wow.
I could talk about that medical.
I think we need a whole episode on
do.
medical fat phobia for sure.
It's
We've
awful.
both experienced
It's so bad.
the worst with that.
Yeah. So anything that has to do with the current events or the show that you want to also bring up, we could probably maybe be more specific about the one microaggression from the one lady's friend, her sister's friend.
I think, I think that that's going to play a deeper role at some point. Like, I don't think that they're going to just make this show and they're going to not talk about her body. Yeah. So I think either I'm scared that she's going to end up having like some kind of crazy internalized fat phobia that they haven't shared, or
Mm-hmm.
that it's going to be like the theme that her sister that is alive wants to like pick her apart about. So that's what I'm concerned about. But I'm really interested in the show and I'm going to watch it regardless. But
Yeah.
I'm hopeful that if that happens, that there's a stop to it and that her character stands up to it.
Yeah, I have a feeling she will.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But yeah, the sister she was talking about, the sister that's still alive is like nitpicking her. She was talking with her best friend. I think they were like gossiping about the character, Sam, Bridget's character. Sam comes in and she kind of catches them. And then they're like, "Oh, we're just talking about you because we love you and we're looking forward to your future here and yada yada yada. And maybe you'll get a new haircut. Maybe you'll do this, you'll do that. Maybe you'll go to the gym." And I was like, shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have a feeling you're right. But that was the first microaggression that I've seen in that show in 3 episodes. That's the only mention that I've seen so far.
Yeah.
Anything else? Did you notice anything else?
No, I didn't really see anything that kind of stood out to me as like a microaggression. I mean, I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure that there was something, but it was probably just so subtle in what we deal with all the time that it was just like whatever and move on. But
Yeah.
that one was very, I think because they had that moment privately, and then when she walked in the room and they had said, "Oh, and maybe you'll do this," and then hopefully like maybe you'll go to the gym. It was just very snarky. Yeah, it was very like underhanded and just kind of like, well, I'm saying all this other really positive stuff, so
Yeah.
maybe you'll take it into consideration.
Of course you want to go to the gym and work out and get thin, right? Because I'm sure there's a thin woman inside of you just dying to get out of there.
Right.
No, bitch, no.
No.
No. I've been this way since the 3rd grade, okay? Ask my pediatrician.
Exactly.
Probably not going to change anytime soon. And I know you and I both reject diet culture.
Yes.
We're very anti-diet culture and anti-diet. And we're both very Haze informed. And we really both, I think, really enjoy the health at every size structure, whatever you call it, books, everything. It's just wonderful because really diets don't work. And even when they don't work, they try to blame you. So
Exactly.
I'm divested from all that.
Yes, and I think that we can definitely get into this as the pod series continues. But
Yes.
as a therapist, I hear all the time those kind of comments of, my body, and I have to have this, and I have to, like I'm never going to achieve happiness unless I have this sort of thing. And then you hear all these other things in their life that's creating all this depression, all this anxiety, all these things. And it's just like, well, that's not going to be the easy fix. You losing 20 pounds or whatever, that's not going to magically make all those other things disappear. And so yeah, we can definitely
I'm
continue.
sure we're going to dig into that. Yeah. It is not the panacea. It's not the thing that you think it's going to be.
No.
It's just not. And yeah. And it just pisses me off that all the people that do sell diet products, that when it doesn't work, which, they're invested in it not working, because then you have to be a repeat customer.
Yeah.
But also then they blame you. Like you did something incorrectly. You couldn't have, that's not possible. But even in their own materials, if you read the fine print, they tell you works for like less than 5% of people,
Yep.
more than 2 years. And most people only keep off 5 to 10 pounds. Those are the successes.
Right.
Anyway. Okay.
So messed up.
So messed up. Oh yeah. This is why we're doing this, right? Because we want to,
That's right.
we want to normalize these discussions. We want to help people. We want to give people community. That's one of the things I forgot to mention in my intro, is that I recently started something called Fat Community. It's my website, fatcommunity.com. And we're trying to get together every other month to just talk with some of the experts and talk about things related to existing in a fat body, because it ain't easy. And unfortunately, you have to have a really thick skin, which is not fair. But I have one, so I don't give a fuck.
Yes. Same here. It's like at this point, I want to stop the little kid that's growing up from feeling like they don't, they don't exist. They have to hide in the shadows and wear clothes that don't fit them right, and all those kind of things. It's like, if this reaches one teenager who's having a struggle and it changes their mind, that's all that matters, right?
We've done what we've come to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. I remember the first time I learned about fat activists and fat liberationists, and that you could exist in a fat body and be happy. Because I am a really happy person, and I have a great life,
Right.
and I'm hella fat, and I have a lot of sex with my partner. Like, I travel. I mean, I do everything that other people do. And I've been fat since the third grade, and I've never really been alone on a Saturday night unless I wanted to be.
Right.
Sometimes I want to be, so it's like I never really bought into it too much, being, how you have to be thin, but I definitely heard it everywhere. And then
Right.
when I found Jess Baker, and I was like, the
Yeah.
militant baker, my
Yeah.
mind was blown. I was like, that's me. And like, I did realize that people could get pissed off because I didn't diet and I was happy. And they're like,
Right.
how could you be happy and fat and not diet?
Right.
You can't be fat and happy. I'm like, oh, yes, I can.
Mhm.
It pisses people off big time. Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're changing core beliefs. You're talking
Yeah.
about things that they have been ingrained into them that
Yeah.
this is the way, and it's not.
No, it's the only way. Yeah. When did you first discover the fat positivity movement?
I got into the fat positivity movement probably in the early 2000s.
Hmm.
There were a lot of plus size model, like that was really when that started to kind of
Yeah.
come out, like Ashley Graham and things like that.
Hmm.
And being in the sex positive community, there was a plus size magazine that was out that was kind of like a
Yeah.
way for plus size. And so that kind of like opened it up. And then
Hmm.
that was like when the internet was really hitting too. And so like there were fat forums and there were things that you could find, like these little niche groups. And
Yeah.
it was like the more that's we've expanded, obviously, it's like just because people couldn't find it because they didn't
Yep.
know that it existed, but it was
Right.
always there.
Yep.
It just, we needed a place. So yeah, it was kind of all of those things just kind of started that rabbit hole of like looking into like, ooh, what's that? And ooh, what's this?
Hmm.
Yeah, it's been quite the adventure.
I have a feeling a lot of our current events and our hot topics are going to be about when we see and hear about fat people in the media or doing extraordinary things. I think I have this funny feeling we're going to end up gravitating towards that a little bit. But anyway, speaking of hot topics,
Hot topics.
what is the hot topic of the week, Merf?
Okay, so have you heard of if he dies, he dies?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think we should change the pronouns there to if they die, right? Because it
Yes,
could be anybody. But
absolutely.
we're talking about how people feel, especially women, feel really uncomfortable getting on top of their partner and
Hmm.
having sex in some or any kind of pleasure while they're on top of their partner.
Right.
I think there's this misconception and myth that they are going to crush them, that they are going to like suffocate them and they won't be able to move and it's all over, right? If he dies,
Yeah.
he dies.
He dies,
Uh,
he dies. Happy.
but exactly, I think that's where we have to really take that in of
Yeah.
he's going to die happy or they're going to die happy because that's amazing.
But they're not going to die. They're
And
not
they're
going to
not
be
going to
smushed.
die. They're
No.
going to love that. And
Yes.
I think that one of the biggest things from that has been really a lot of body image issues, right? So I
Yes.
think it's that concept or that construct that we're supposed to be ashamed. We're supposed to hide our body and like minimize it as much as possible.
Yeah.
When you're riding cowgirl or reverse cowgirl, whatever you're doing, right? You should be enjoying your body and the movement and the feeling rather than focusing on my partner I'm going to squash.
How do I look?
How do
He
I-
sees my rolls. He sees the
Right,
hair on my butt crack.
exactly.
All those
Well, and
things.
now with all like the social media stuff, there's all
Yeah.
these like if you show what you'd look like if you were on top. Have you seen those?
Mm-mm.
Where like people will say like show us what you'd look like if you were on top, so the
Yep.
camera's like way down here and you see like the double chin and the like it doesn't look attractive, like right, like I'm using air quotes here.
Sure. Yeah.
And really trying to kind of push that narrative. So I think
Yeah.
that that you have not only the societal pressure of
Hmm.
all of those things, but then you have just the internalized feeling of like I'm not sexy enough, or
Yeah.
my weight is going to be a problem. Um,
I
how
think
would
a lot of people feel exposed because they feel like when they are in certain clothing that their partner can't tell how big they are. But I'm like, look, there's no clothes that can hide how much space you're taking up. Stop it.
right?
They're with you. They
Right.
must be attracted to you, even at that exact same size that you are right now. So stop me. Merf, I'm telling you, and when I had my boutique, women especially, would come in and ask me, do I have any lingerie that can hide the upper arm?
Oh,
Who's looking at your upper arm? Nobody.
right.
But I think, yeah, they feel exposed because they're used to having clothing on, so they can cover their rolls, they cover their part that they don't like.
Right.
And so when you get on top, you're like, hello, or maybe your breasts are sagging, or whatever. You have hair where you don't want to have hair,
Yep.
and the hair where you don't want to have hair can be anybody, like all genders, all people that
Right.
are non-binary can have hair on their chest and stuff where they don't want it. So believe me, I see it at work, and it's really common. But they're worried about being exposed to those things too.
Right. Well, and I think that part of that too is like, how do you have the discussion with someone that if you feel that way, there are things that you can do to try out to maybe make that process a bit easier.
Definitely.
I mean, we're talking about, okay, are you squatting or are you putting your knees down on a surface? And okay, maybe you get some pillows and you put them underneath your knees. So that takes a little bit of the pressure off and makes you feel a bit more,
In
you got a little
control.
more bounce. I'm bouncing it
Yeah. A
here,
little more
but
ounce to the bounce.
right. You've got a little bit more space that you can control. There's different sex toys that I'm sure we can get into later on in the future about
Yeah.
that can aid you in those kind of things.
hmm
Um,
Totally true. I
yeah,
notice when I try to do it on the bed, it's impossible because between his weight and my weight, the bed just sinks down so far. And then I'm like, basically being impaled. So it works much better for me either on the couch or on the floor, where I make
Mhm.
like a nice little area with our sex blanket. And then I usually put some pillows down because my legs are kind of short. So I
Mhm.
have to have the pillows underneath my knees, and then I can get on top, and then I can do it. And I really, for me, a reverse cowgirl works the best,
Mhm.
um, more than forward. Also, the other type thing I've noticed that works well for me with being on top and looking at him is if I can hold on to the headboard.
Yep.
That gives me more support.
Yep. I was just gonna say if you can hold on to something,
hmm
maybe like, like you said, the headboard, or like if
Yeah.
you were doing reverse, if you had the ability to touch the edge of or the end of the bed, if you had
Yep.
like a
hmm
full play bed.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, I mean, you can do that couch, you can do it on the floor. There's so many different things that you can do. Um, and I can assure you, whoever the partner is that you have underneath you, they're not going to die. They are
Nope.
going to love the fact that you are on top of them. First of all, that you're even, wanting to be with them. But second,
Yeah.
that you're on top of them and that you're willing to, try something probably that's new for you or different for you and
Right. Yeah.
comfortable with it.
Show up vulnerable, right? Be vulnerable and
Right.
be open to that. And yeah, it's also very sexy to not give a fuck, I think, too. I think a lot of people like that. Just go for it.
Absolutely.
And that's so, because I think you have the best sex when you can just let go, right? Let go of the list in your head and the worries about your body and just enjoy your body.
Right.
We all have so many different ways our bodies can be pleasured, and that includes fat bodies. We have the same anatomy. We just might have a little more of it in some places, and so we might have to find some workarounds for certain things. But it's always possible. Where there's a will, there's a way.
That's right. Well, and sometimes you have to tell your partner. I've said
Yeah,
to my partner before, hold my legs, or like
yeah,
hold under my thigh, or
right.
squeeze my hips so that my butt moves up and down a
Yeah,
little bit
yeah,
easier when there's
hmm
not as much pressure. And
yeah.
there's lots of things that you can do, but you're right. You have to be communicative. You have to just not care and really just jump in and say, I'm going to try it.
I'll probably say this a million times as the times over the episodes of this podcast, but communication is lubrication.
Oh, I love
It's all
that.
about communication. And the more you communicate, the hotter your sex life gets.
Oh, so
It's
true.
incredible, I swear. But you have to, like, we are really in our relationship, we're really dedicated to radical honesty,
Yeah.
and it's very liberating. And yeah, it's just like communicating, like just talking about anything and everything, and not being afraid to share
Yeah.
what you're afraid of and what you're into and what you're thinking about and what you're fantasizing
Yeah.
about. And it's very it makes you feel very emboldened, right? So
Right.
so lovely. I just so grateful. My partner is just he's fantastic, and we really have a good ability to communicate each to each other, and it works really well for us.
Yeah.
And I get the feeling that you and your husband have a very good communication too.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that there's no, like you said, the the communication is the lubrication. If you're
it
not having
is.
good discussions, you're not living it to the fullest. I mean,
No,
21 and a half years together, if I had said, I'm almost 40, so I turned 40 this year. If I had said to my 20-year-old self, like, if you just get over this and talk about this, it's going to get
right.
so much better because
Yeah,
I'm 39 years old and I'm having the best sex of my entire life.
yeah, yeah.
And it has a lot to do with communication and
Telling
saying
you.
saying
Yeah,
what, hey, that's to the left, or
right.
pressure here, or I'm like a airline pilot's telling them here's the runway with the little wavy wands,
Right, yeah.
air
Hey, and you know
traffic
what?
person.
And most people prefer to be communicated with, right? Now,
Yeah,
like I always feel like if you're going to give your partner some suggestions to improve, I would not do that in the bedroom.
right,
I would wait until you're away from the bedroom and then you could say, babe, I want to talk about this or that. But
right.
I think in the bedroom, it might feel like an attack a little bit. So when things are more neutral, I think that's the best time to bring up things that might be a little bit contentious or cause conflict. What do you think? Is
I
that about?
absolutely agree.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think part of that too is if you are in the midst of it and it's just not working, saying something that you really like. Like, I really like it when you do whatever it may
This,
be,
right.
as a way to get that person to switch gears.
Redirect.
Yes, redirection
Yeah.
makes a big
Yeah.
difference.
It really does. It really does. Yeah.
But I have to say, I love the shirt. I saw the shirt that said, "If he dies, he
I
dies."
know. Me too.
I'm just like, I'm all about that because,
Yeah.
when I'm on top, like, I'm having fun. I'm not worried about if he's dying or not.
And
But
honestly, I've never ever heard of anybody dying from that. So you're
no,
not going to crush their bones. There's just no way.
no,
It's not going
no.
to happen. It's never happened. It's not going to happen. And yeah, they mostly appreciate it because they will, if they're into you, they want to see you. And
Yeah,
I hear from a lot of people that they want to see their partner's face.
yeah,
And a lot of times they don't. And, you know, because of the positioning or the lights or whatever. But, um, you have all these other bits on your body that they could be focused on. But
right.
most people want to see their partner's face because this
Absolutely.
is who they're in the relationship with. This is what they're attracted to. And
Yeah.
this is where you communicate from, and it's just different than staring at a boob.
Exactly.
I mean, that's fun too sometimes, but mostly they want to see their partner. So when you
Right.
get on top, they get to see you, and they get to see your O face, and they get to
Yeah,
see you
and the
enjoying
body
yourself.
movement, yeah,
Yeah, mhm,
it's just so different than, the regular missionary or doggy style, like,
mhm.
there's so much, the person who's on top has so much more control and
I
gets to
know.
really
Yeah,
drive,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that's an interesting and fun thing for a lot of people, and
Absolutely.
especially the person underneath that's getting to experience that, so,
There's
uh
also some aids out there for people who like maybe they have bad knees or whatever. If they can't really get on top well, there is this sex chair. It's pretty affordable and it holds up to 300 pounds, and it's just like piece of metal, and then it has this like
the
leather
mesh,
or yeah across it, so you
yeah,
can sit on that and you can put that over them. And I mean, because people could do this with a strap on too. If the strap on person's laying down, you could get over on top of them with this chair, and you can you have this chair to support you while you're doing your thing. And some people build stuff at home. They build sex swings or whatever to try to make those kinds of things work. So again, where there's a will, there's a way. And the pandemic made people extremely creative and horny. So there's a
mhm,
lot of new things out there because people were home alone and horny and bored.
bored.
So watch out. It's going to be interesting few years.
And
Excuse me.
the sex chair has, like, it has a hole cut out, right?
Yeah, huh? Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah, okay, I've seen those. Yeah, those are really interesting.
It's like
Um,
30 or $40. It's really affordable.
yeah, I haven't purchased one, but I've seen them, and it
Hmm.
kind of looks like a little sit trampoline to
Yes,
me.
uh-huh,
Yeah,
exactly.
okay, cool, yeah, that's fun.
Well, thank you for the hot topics.
Hot topics, no problem.
It's awesome. I love it. Next week, what are we talking about? Oh, I know. We're going to talk about a little bit about are you too fat to wear lingerie? I have a lot to say about that. So that's going to be my hot
Oh,
topic next week
I
or
love
in two
it. That's
weeks.
gonna be good.
So, do we have any listener email, Murph?
We do. So,
Ooh,
do you know where people can send us listener email? You can send it to sexy@bigsexychat.com, and we will be able to read your questions and answer them live on the air.
And I
So
would say let us know too if we can mention your first name or anything or where you're at. If you don't want it, if you want to be anonymous, just say that and we won't mention your name.
that's a great point. Okay, so this is the first question.
Okay.
What sex toys work well for people with larger lower tummies, shorter arms, and a very small clitoris? Ooh. So this is like, first of all, I've got the first two. Like I've got a larger lower
I
tummy.
do too.
I've got the little T-Rex arms. And I don't think I have a very small clitoris. I think it's probably average,
Average.
but I'm when we started talking about this, I was like, ooh, this is very interesting. So I want to hear your thoughts on that. But with the lower tummy or the larger lower tummy and the shorter arms, I've found that wands
Yes.
really work well.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Creates
And
that whole
excuse me.
issue of the stretch, right?
Trying to reach.
Trying to get
Yeah.
your hand in the right position.
Right.
It really gives you that extra length that you need to get to your clitoris.
And even if you still can't get it or that's not comfortable for you, if you do have a wand, you can also do things like lay on your side and put it between your legs and push a pillow in there or put it between two pillows and lay on top of it. So there's a lot of ways to work around that. Um, yeah, when people would ask me things like that at my boutique or at my sex toy parties, I would tell them, yeah, things with length. Like I used to love my extra long womanizer. Sadly, they're not making the extra long one anymore. They made it for plus size people. I love anything that's a wand, or the Hitachi magic wand, of course.
Mhm.
Hopefully, everybody owns one by now. And there's a lot of other wands on the market. You have one wand that you really like, right?
I like the shibari.
That's right, the Shibari. Yeah,
Yeah, the shibari is really nice, and I mean, I do love the magic one. Either one are
yeah.
really great. I have another vibe that we're going to talk about at some point. That's like
Okay,
my go-to, but
okay.
it's not as long, but it still does pretty well.
There are
So,
some like plastic toys. So plastic is okay. Rubber's not. Silicone's fabulous. Silicone's like the best, the Rolls Royce of sex toys, medical grade silicone. But if you want to buy a hard plastic toy, just stay away from anything that's rubber that smells like petroleum. Those are out.
bad.
They're not being made anymore, except maybe in China, and they're just really bad for vaginas and anything that's gonna get into your bloodstream. But there
Yeah.
are some plastic toys that are hard plastic that they're fairly affordable. I think Cal Exotics makes it. It's like a stick that almost looks like a fat pencil, then has like a little bulb on the end, and it's like a vibrator. So the
Oh,
stick, so it has one of those dials. So it just does low, medium, high. It's
yeah.
not. It's like $25, something like that. And this is where the vibration is going to be. So a lot of my people of size would buy that one who
Yeah.
had, like me, had a larger lower tummy. I don't necessarily have short arms, but my tummy is pretty big, so sometimes it's hard to get down there.
Yeah.
The other thing people can do too, if they can, is they can or masturbate or use the toy while sitting up instead of laying down,
Hmm.
because that does bring everything a little bit closer to you. I
Yep.
know for me when I'm laying down, sometimes I'm trying to, it's not working for me.
Yep. I was going to
So
say pillows behind you, just as many
yes,
as you
exactly, all that
can.
stuff.
Pack
Yeah.
them in.
But like I'm one of those people that really prefer to be laying flat when I'm having an orgasm.
Yeah, me
So
too.
I mean, I can do all the tension in my body better. But some people, I mean, with the wand, I can have an orgasm any way I sit or stand or sleep or lay. I mean, it's
Right.
just go. You can't help but have one practically. The wand is lovely because it plugs into the wall, the Hitachi magic wand, and it gives you, as long as you're paying your PG&E, you have electricity, you're good to go. No
Right.
batteries, no charging,
I
just
know.
electricity.
I had a friend message me yesterday and she goes, I forgot to plug in all my vibrators and you had said to do that the week before and I didn't do it. And now all three of them are out and I needed them. I was like, that's when you need a Hitachi. Just stick
Yes.
it to the wall. Yeah.
Yes, electricity. Oh, a lot of power. Holy moly.
So
I
this
like
is
it
your
on low
weekly
myself. It's
reminder.
on high, it's too high.
Yeah.
For me anyway.
It's your weekly reminder to plug in your vibrators and
That's
charge
right.
them.
Listen to Merf. This is a hot topic, okay?
That's right.
Yeah, so I would say, yeah, definitely. I keep doing this thing. I have to stop doing this. Sorry for all the listeners. By the way, I have asthma. So if you hear me coughing, I promise it's not COVID.
Yeah.
But yeah, the toys that are longer, toys that are electric often are longer, and then toys that you can use with your pillows and blankets and stuff like that, or with a partner. The partner can use it on you and reach everything very easily. And you can also incorporate sex toys with oral sex and penetrative sex. So
Yes.
all kinds of ways. There's no rules, just guidelines. Except
Exactly.
don't put anything up your butt unless it has the stopper on it. Please, that is the one hard, fast rule here.
Yeah.
Got to have the ending on the toy, because otherwise, things, when you get excited, things get sucked into the rectum. So we don't want that.
And I can tell you from working in the emergency room, there is no accidentally that went into my butt.
It just doesn't happen.
No, no.
Like, no matter what I fell on, if I fell on it, it's not going up my butthole. I already
Right.
know this. I just know it's not happening.
Yep.
My
Not
butthole's on lockdown. Unless there's good lube and some good foreplay going on. But
exactly.
not if I sit on it. Even with my big, huge ass, it's not going up my butt.
Nope.
Just not. So I heard that some emergency rooms like keep records, like they have like a little book of all the crazy stuff that happens in the ER. And a
I
lot of
believe that.
yeah.
I know that they keep pictures of like really interesting objects, but
Golf balls.
they probably, yeah, I think that's probably what they're doing, is they're probably keeping that to be like, and listen, this is your first week. These are things we found in people's butts. Be prepared that somebody's going to come in and say they accidentally fell onto a microphone and it went straight up their butt, and you know.
I
Yeah.
love it. Again, the human condition. You have to love it. It's when you're home alone and horny, man, you got to find stuff,
Right.
But I always tell people, just go to the sex toy store. They're everywhere now. They
Everywhere.
make these things specifically for this. Butt plugs and vibrators and dildos and strap-ons. Just, you don't have to use stuff at home. There's other options out there, y'all. And you can even buy them on Amazon. I mean, I sell them on my website. Just go see a professional, please. Don't hurt yourself. Don't
No, and
embarrass yourself.
exactly. And that whole about having communication with your partner, if you don't want to even communicate about your body or anything else, don't go playing around with stuff that you put in your butt, because you're going to have that conversation with the nurse.
Yeah, it's gonna suck. My partner told me in the very beginning we first met, if we're intimate enough to put our genitals into each other's genitals, we should be able to talk about anything and everything. And I was like, damn, that's true.
Exactly true.
You're right. I was like, wow, that's yeah, yeah. I never thought of it exactly like that, but he's right.
He's 100%.
If he can put his penis in my vagina without a condom, which we started with condom for 3 years, but
Right.
without a condom, I mean, we're fluid bonded.
Yeah.
We could talk about anything and everything. And I was like,
Anything and everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
So fluid bonded, if you don't know, it means just that we're comfortable sharing bodily fluids because we both know our status, and we know that we're both safe and we're both free of any STDs or STIs. So we're comfortable with each other's bodily fluids because we don't feel like there's any risk.
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
Is there any more listener email?
And then yeah, if you have a smaller clit.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I do love. Have you ever tried any of the womanizer toys, the suction on the clitoris?
I have.
I think that's a good toy for, or tool. I'm going to call that a tool. Good tool for people with a small clitoris because it does suction right on your clitoris.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I love vibration and suction at the same time. Like,
Mm-hmm.
think of like a mouth, right?
Right.
If they're giving you suction on your clitoris, and then there's vibration nearby, or their mouth is humming or whatever. So the womanizer toys and the satisfier toys, those, like, it almost looks like my inhaler kind of, where it's like this part is open, and
Mm-hmm.
then you insert onto your clitoris, and then you turn on the little air thing, and it suctions the air out.
Yeah.
It starts tugging on your clitoris, and then it vibrates at the same time.
Yeah.
So
I just
good.
wish they were longer.
So the womanizer used to make one longer for people size, and they stopped.
Stop.
It's a terrible name, womanizer. Satisfier is much better.
I know. Yeah, I prefer
But
the name satisfier
I
for
guess
sure.
it's in German. Womanizer translates to something different. So,
That makes sense. Okay.
but yeah, I like the suction toys for women with smaller clitorises, or I should say, people with a smaller clitoris.
I've used the Awaken gel from
Mm,
Wicked, And that has also like kind of provided, like it makes it a little more puffy. It makes them
Yeah.
a little more stimulated.
Yeah, it
So
swells it up a little bit. There are pumps out there that people can use, but you have to be very careful with them.
yeah.
So I wouldn't really recommend that. They don't vibrate. So I'm like, I don't know why you would use it personally, but I know people do. And then, so a lot of times, women of size, people who have a labia, let's say, sometimes if you're a person of size, you have a larger labia, you have larger lips.
Mhm.
And so what we've found is that sometimes you can take a toy that's like a bullet that's on a wire, and you can kind of take the bullet part and like tuck it up in there, and then you have the wire up here where you're laying down,
Yep.
and that can sometimes help people with a smaller clitoris. But yeah, it's just a matter of, finding what works for you. I think the Hitachi could work really well, but I always like the people to warm up with Hitachi, warm up your labia and just get the blood flowing there. Cause I mean, orgasms are all about blood flow,
Yep.
and the Hitachi is very intense. So if you're trying to like push it in there to hit your small clitoris, I don't want you to mess up any of your nerves. So I would say warm up first, give yourself some foreplay with the Hitachi, and then see if you can't give yourself that sensation with the vibrator, because it's very strong and it's rumbly, right? It rumbles all the way through your body.
Yeah. I love that about
Yeah,
Hitachi.
yeah,
I'm a rumble kind of gal.
yeah. Me too. I like rumbly toys. Those are the best for me.
Yeah. So if you have questions or comments, you can email us at sexy@bigsexychat.com, and we may just read it on our podcast and answer.
Hey, thank you for the people who wrote into us too. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And I would love to hear names so that I can be like,
Yeah.
remember what Susie asked
Uh
us, or
huh. Uh-huh.
that sort of thing. So can we
Now
talk about the vibe of the week?
we're talking about the mic. I'm most excited about this part because I know you're gonna talk about the most fabulous vibe of the week, and I can't wait to hear all about it. So yes, please tell us all about it. All
Okay.
about the unicorn, right?
The
It just
unicorn.
sounds wonderful.
Right. It is. It is the Unicorn Premium Sex Machine by Le Wand.
Sex machine. You're a sex machine.
I know, it just sounds so fun. So
Sounds like a disco song.
like it's, yeah, exactly. Um, so Le Wand is a very high quality brand,
Hmm.
sold in specialty boutiques. You can get it online as well.
Yeah, I have it on
Um,
my website.
yes, so it's available on your website, and we're going to talk about price and all that too, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Right. So this is this is a sex machine. So it is a very solid apparatus. It sits on the floor. You get all kinds of really fun things when you buy this. So you get basically a wipe down, really cute pastel rainbow mat that you put underneath the machine.
Awesome.
It's a rainbow flogger that
Oh,
is it's a unicorn tail though if you attach it to the back of the actual machine. And
nice.
then you get the actual machine with two different hospital grade silicone attachments that you
Nice.
can either have as just a vibrating mound so that you can like press your clit against it or your anus against it, or you can purchase one, or the other one is for insertion. They have multiple different types, but they give you two when you purchase it.
Kind of
And
looks like a saddle, right? That you're going to
yeah,
ride.
yeah. So it is a vegan leather saddle,
Cool.
and it's like white and sparkly. It's so cute. It's got rainbow trim all along the bottom,
Nice.
and oh man, it has got like you talk about rumble. It is 1200, can go up to 1200 RPM.
Woo.
So you can like shake the house down with this bad boy.
Nice. Wow.
It's got 6 vibrations, and you can control it manually, or it's Bluetooth enabled.
Shit.
So your partner or you can use your phone and change the speed while you're going at it.
Man, how fun.
So so we were talking about, if he dies, he dies, or if they die, they die.
Yeah.
This is a great opportunity to try that out. You want to start to get comfortable with,
Riding.
um, feeling like I'm on top, and I know what feels good and what I like, and pillows and all that. You can really try that out and not have that feeling of embarrassment or whatever it is that
Great
you're.
idea, Merf.
Yeah, I think it's got a lot of good opportunities. It's also, if you're feeling a little adventurous and you and your partner use it, you can kind of use it like a third person.
Hmm.
So you can sit on top of it, and please your partner, or vice versa.
Like
Um,
early.
yeah, so it feels like you're kind of enjoying a little threesome event, or
Hmm.
there's some element to it that feels unique, just because it's so large. It's its own thing, right?
Yeah, it's a
Um,
thing.
it is, and it's got a lot of just a lot of really great um, vibrate, like the vibration and the power behind it. It's got different settings that you can do, the pulsating
Oh,
and
I
the
love the pulsing, like especially the one that pulses kind of like the speed of sex. That
yes,
pulse. Oh, I
that
love that speed.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
You know.
So yes. And so you straddle the machine, you can do whatever you want. Like I said, it's vaginal or anal. There's lots of other attachments and things that you can buy for it, but the actual pack that it comes with
Ooh, there's my
really,
headphones.
oh, that's okay. Really comes with all that you need to get it going and try something new. I love that it's vegan leather.
That's cool.
It's really high quality. I mean, you're purchasing, if you purchase this, you're really purchasing a serious investment. Like, this is not something that you're just going to throw in the corner and worry about it some
Right.
other time or whatever.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
like
An
a
investment.
boy. Um,
It's a
and
tool.
it's so fun and colorful and
Sounds cool.
feels good. The packaging is amazing. If you're a packaging person, I'm really into makeup, so when I get like that really cool packaging, I love it. Same thing. This box has like the unicorn and all the
Love
different
it.
colors, and
Awesome.
it's like you're about to have a fun ride, and it's just got they really want you to enjoy, and so
It's like if people know the Sibian, right? It's similar to that concept,
very much
which is
so.
like double the price, but still beautiful. The
Yep,
Sibian's very beautiful. So,
plugs
what
right
is
into the wall.
plugs into the wall, more electricity? We know
Yeah.
it's not going to die. Doesn't have to be recharged. The part that you're rubbing your clitoris on, or maybe you're like kind of grinding against it. What's that like?
So it's like a round, probably like a silver dollar size mound.
Okay.
And then it kind of tears down into like um, I don't know how to say the shape, but it's kind of like a little rectangle. So it's just a little bit raised. So it's like you
Okay.
put this little round mound right against your clit, because that's
Mm-hmm.
what it's intending it for.
Sure.
And then it's like this little strip, and then you have another little round mound. So it's like for your anus, so that you're getting
Mm.
that vibration on both ends.
Wow.
And then the one with the actual penetrative piece has the same round mound. It has some little I would call them teeth, but it's silicone, so it's just little nubbins,
Yeah, nubs. Yeah.
you'd rub against, and then the actual phallic shape for insertion. And so, I mean, it's soft. It's very, very, it's hospital grade silicone. So it's very, slick.
Lovely.
If you add lube,
Yeah.
um, that little mat that you put underneath cleans up everything. You just,
Beautiful. They thought of it all.
yeah, it's really, top grade. When you think of like, okay, I'm going to invest in a really fancy sex toy,
Hmm.
they went all out for this.
Now, are there more than one size for the penetration part?
Yes, you can purchase different sizes. They give you the standard, which is, I
Uh,
believe, it looks to be about 4.5, 5 inches. It's kind of tiered, so it's like it's smaller towards or sorry, it's thicker towards the bottom,
yeah.
smaller, towards the top. Um, but they're all in really pretty colors, so it's like
Mm.
a soft teal and a soft
Mm.
purple. They really went aesthetically pleasing for this toy.
So I hate the word anus, so I usually say culo. Um, the part for the culo, is it penetrative or is it just something that you're rubbing against that vibrates maybe?
Yeah, you're just rubbing against it to
Okay.
vibrate. They
Hmm.
do make other attachments so that you can have double penetration.
Oh,
So
wow.
they have that attachment that you can purchase,
Cool.
and they just pop right on. I mean, you literally just rip it right off, go
Sweet.
clean it, and then dry it and put it right back on. There's no assembly required with this thing. It
Very
is
cool.
plug it into the wall, you're good to go.
Plug and play. Love it.
Plug
Always
and
love plug and
play.
play. Wow. Yeah, I sell it for 15.50. So it's
Yeah,
definitely an investment and investment in your probably your forever sex life. You're probably like if you switch partners, that's probably going with you, you know? I
absolutely.
mean, you can't give that one up. And that's another topic we should cover sometime on this podcast. People used to ask me all the time, we're breaking up, who gets the sex toys? I feel like the sex toys belong to the person that owns what's being penetrated. So if it's mostly going up your butt or in your vagina, I think you get to take them. And the other person, when they find a new partner, they can go buy new toys with that partner.
Yep.
That's just my 2 cents. What do you think, Merf?
No, I agree.
It's
I couldn't.
mine. They're mine.
Well, and I'm just like, there's no, they're my toys.
And
But
I'm not. If we're in a new relationship, you come to me and you're a guy. Let's say I have all these dildos I used to use with my ex partner.
right,
They're not going in my vagina. They're just not,
exactly.
or my
They're
butt,
not.
or my mouth.
No,
Nowhere.
nowhere near me. Get this thrown
No.
away. We'll buy new.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. I don't
absolutely.
think. I don't think. It's very heteronormative, but I don't think men can really bring sex toys to a new relationship. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they just have to state that they're open with it. I don't
Yeah.
really. I mean, I'd love to see a world where that happened, but I don't
Yeah.
think that's our culture now.
I don't think so. But yeah, if a man owns a unicorn, I mean, you can just get new attachments.
Yep. And choosing those, it's like, babe, pick your favorite color. Like,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
go.
Right.
But yeah,
I
it
love it.
is a very large investment, but it's one of those things where um,
You're gonna have it
I'm
forever.
wearing my treat yourself shirt.
Treat yourself. Yes.
I get that it's very privileged to be able to buy a $1,500 sex toy, but if this is something where you have that you like cowgirl and you like reverse cowgirl and all those kind of, like, you cannot go wrong with this thing.
It
Like,
sounds wonderful.
and I mean, it took a little while to get to exactly where I wanted with the vibration, like,
Yeah.
turning it up and getting there.
Yeah.
But once you're there, it is like instantaneous orgasm. Yeah, because I mean, you just, all this power is between your legs. You just
What do they call it? Transcendent? Oh, I can't think of the word.
transcendental, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Oh, it's got to take you to a whole another place, right?
Exactly. Well, and you feel
Yeah,
it throughout your whole body.
I love
That's
that.
another thing that is really great about it, is that the vibration, because it's just so powerful
Yeah.
that you're feeling it from your toes to your
Ooh,
fingertips.
it sounds like fun, Murph.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm selling it, like I said, for 15.50. There are a few knockoffs that are out there that are, probably not quite the same quality that you can get around $400. There's also ways you can do this at home, like kind of like we were talking about earlier, the Hitachi Magic Wand and pillows. And then there's a thing from Liberator, right, that makes something you could put the Hitachi Magic Wand in.
Yes.
I don't
So
have
it's
that.
like, it's the cushion. I don't remember the name of the
Yeah, I
cushion, but
remember that one.
it's a
Yeah,
cushion that has the insert, the
for the
wand.
wand. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and we have it, and it's really nice. The pillow moves around a little bit, so
Hmm.
you do have to kind of, like, it's almost like you're in a specific position holding the pillow so that it doesn't move.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that I would say is kind of like, oh, well, this is
Hmm.
like, it's stable, it's not going anywhere. But yeah, that as an alternative, that's a great option.
And it's not 15.50.
No, no, no,
Yeah.
no.
Perfect. I love it. Oh, well, thank you so much, Murph. That was amazing. I
Yeah,
hope people write into us about questions about the unicorn. I have a feeling that you might hear a few because it's really unique. And we'll put on the show notes, we'll definitely put a link to it,
yeah,
and I'll link to a picture of it so people who are watching this later or at any time can go check out what the unicorn actually looks like on my website. And I'm sure you could find it all over Google too, because I'm
yeah.
sure yeah, it's like a saddle toy that you ride and it's electric. And who makes it? Lawand makes it, right?
The wand.
So now
Yeah,
everybody has all the information to Google it and they can go see
yeah.
exactly what it looks like because it is pretty glorious.
It is, and they have like a unicorn pack where it's like they did like a special Pride unicorn thing, and
Oh
so
yeah, cool.
it comes with like a vibrating butt plug, and they have an actual wand. So like
Cool.
there's other options if you said, "Hey,
Wow.
I didn't want that, but I want to try
Right.
something else."
Very nice. Awesome.
Yeah,
That's the vibe of the week.
the vibe of the
That's
week.
the vibe of the year, actually.
Well, starting out, we got to go out with like, whew,
Hey,
all guns
right?
blazing.
Hell yeah. Well, this is so much fun, and I'm so excited to be doing this with you, and I'm so excited to find our listeners and our community and get everybody involved. And I can't wait to even have a guest on our show one day and interview the guest and probably ask them what's their favorite vibe of the week.
Yeah,
Because yeah, we're going to talk to people that are sex positive. They'd be willing to share that kind of information probably. And is there anything else that you want us to share before we hang up tonight? Before we end our show?
I'm just really excited, and I hope, like you said, that we find our people. I mean, I know that there's 1,000,001 podcasts, right?
Yeah, there are a lot now.
And that's cool, but I just hope that we're able to find a group of folks that want to hear us talk and have good questions and
Yeah,
it resonates with them and
right.
normalizes some stuff that they've probably been trained that it's not
Yeah.
okay, and we're here to
Hmm.
say it is.
It's all okay. Absolutely.
Oh,
And on our website, once the website's finished, which is hopefully next weekend or in the next 2 weeks, there'll be a place where people can also send us information or contact us. So, and if they want to sign up for our newsletter, there'll be that on the website too. So, probably around the end of February, we'll have that all going. So, if people want to, they can like and subscribe, right? They can write us a review.
absolutely. So you can find us at BigSexyChat.com, and you can find us on any of the major streaming services. Just remember, like, subscribe, and review. That makes a big difference for us and
It
getting our
does.
name out there.
Yeah.
You can find us at Big Sexy Chat on Facebook and Instagram, and then Big Sexy Chat Pod on Twitter. Somebody had Big Sexy Chat
Oh,
already.
rude.
I
It's probably
know.
Big Puppy.
Probably. And then you can find me, Merf, at Murphy Girl Review on Twitter and Murphy Girl Adventures on Instagram. And Crystal, where can they find you?
They can find me on Twitter at Bliss Connection, BLISS Connection, no S. And then, yeah, Facebook, I have a Facebook page called Curvy Girl INC, Curvy Girl Inc. So we have quite a few followers there. So I can't wait to share this with all of them as well.
Yeah. And fatcommunity.com, is that?
Fatcommunity.com. And we're going to have our next Fat Community on March 12th. So stay tuned.
So you can download us every other Sunday and listen whenever you want.
Awesome.
We look forward to seeing you again.
Everybody go out there and have some hot sex.
Have some hot sex.
Hell
Some
yeah.
hot unicorn sex.
That's right. Yes.
Get on
Thanks, Merf.
top. If they
That's
die,
right.
they die.
If they die, they die. And they die happy. So don't worry about it.
Get it.
That's right. Get yours. Always get yours first. You, then them, then you. That's my
right.
rules.
I love it.
Yes. All right. Talk to you in a couple weeks.
All right. Bye.
Bye.